This
Aye.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I'll assume that's a unanimous. Everybody that's here has approved the agenda as presented. Next item is our consent agenda. Within that, you see our minutes from April 15th, approval of bills, financial reports, and the trail manager's report. Any discussion on any of those 4 items? Okay, let's see here. Mike, Mike's on a phone call, so he's on mute. Aaron's muted. Allison, you're up. Kevin, you're up. All right, Donnie, you have your hand up.
I was just going to make a motion to approve the consent agenda to include the April 15th, 2020 minutes, the bills for April of $4,157.82, the financial reports for 2020, and the trail manager's report for April 2020.
I'll second.
Okay, we have motion by Councilor Steele, second by Councilor Knoll to approve the consent agenda as presented. Allison, can we get a roll call, please?
Pearson. Am I counting him as present or absent for the moment?
He's absent.
Okay.
He's absent.
Absent. Steele.
Yes.
Watley.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Nold.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Kemp. Yes.
Okay, that motion carries.
Bruce, did you
Next
find
item.
the?
Yeah, what day was it that he sent it out? I'm making sure. I just lost
Oh, here, Mr. Steele, Mr. Pearson. Well, we don't see him. Okay, we'll move on here. Next item is public comment. I don't see any public comment that is
Okay,
part of the
Bruce, I'm
meeting.
going to send you a link right now, okay?
I got it right now. May 20th, 4th. Okay, now the one with all the numbers.
So if there's any public out there that would like to speak,
Open
you
it.
need to speak now or we're moving on. Okay, having heard none, we're moving on to the citizen rep report. Kevin, anything to report to us?
I have no report other than to welcome Mr. Knoll to the council.
Okay, very, very good. All right. With that, we're on to our business portion of the meeting, and it's all new business. The first one, which actually the first two, but the first one is the culvert repair north of Green Shield Road in Orion Township. Linda, I'm going to hand this over to you because you've had a lot of experience in the background on this and what you'd like to do.
Sure. On Greenshield Road, I was out dumping some surface material on the south side of Greenshield, and I realized that Greenshield was
Hey,
flooded.
Bruce,
It happens.
I just sent you an email with the link on it. You might have to copy and paste it, okay?
Oh, well, then that's what I got.
Mike, you want to mute yourself.
Jeez. I can't, mine won't let me paste or anything on this thing.
Oh. All right.
All right, Mike is
So
muted.
anyway- Yep. So anyway, I was doing the normal patrol for just doing the normal business of the day. I was filling in some surface material on the south side of Greenshield, realized Greenshield was flooded. It happens every couple of years. So I kind of walked around and realized it was a culvert on our trail side. I talked to Aaron, and Aaron came over and Donnie came over and we took a look at it, and it was quite a mess. It was kind of eroding. I don't know what happened. Human, age, beaver, we don't know. The DPW tried to clean it out. They were unsuccessful. I marked the area with tape. I took photographs and I called Curtis, and Curtis said, let's make an insurance claim. Aaron suggested it, and that we would see what they said. We made the insurance claim. It took a couple of weeks for them to decide that they were not going to pay for anything. So it's up to us to get it repaired. In my trail manager's report, I noticed I wrote Joe Young for the road commission. It's Mike Young, at the road commission. I've talked to him several times in regards to it. He knows we're working on getting it fixed. It's, we just got to get it fixed. There's a couple of different options. I did reach out to Frank at Superior Excavating. He's a great guy, does good work. I believe he's doing the safety path in Orion. Is he doing the safety path in Orion at Joslin and Heights? Okay, so he's going to be doing that. He did give us a lump sum of $9,200. And that pretty much gets us back to where we are. I did reach out to Joe Gwynn, who's done a lot of work for us. He's a really good guy. He does most of his work in Wayne County. I have spoken to him a couple times. I have not heard back from him, nor have I gotten an estimate. So I have no information on that. If you guys have any other suggestions of anybody I should call, I'm more than happy to reach out to him. So as it stands, we're at 9,200. Frank did indicate that he would basically donate a portion up to $1,000 of his labor and time to us because he loves the trail. So there's the story on that. I did tell him that we do have a supply of some of the surface material. He is not going to need 50 tons, which is the minimum order for the surface material. So we have more than enough to resurface that if we need to. So that'll help keep the cost down because he won't have to buy 50 ton. We have what he needs. So that'll keep our costs down. So that's where we're at.
So Linda, has the trail eroded any more since these pictures?
Yes, somewhat. I mean, it's not catastrophic yet, but every day it gets a little worse. I mean, and with the flooding we've had, hand to God, I have not been down there today. So I'm thinking with the increased water flow, I don't know, Donnie, is Green Shield a swimming pool out there?
You know what? I can't see it from my window, but I kept thinking I was going to go out there. I'm going to look later today. I'm sorry I didn't go out there earlier.
And what's happening is because our culvert is not keeping the water level where it needs to be, it's backing up onto Green Shield, which is plugging their culvert on Green Shield. So that's where we're at. And it's causing the culverts on Green Shield to fail and fill with sediment because we're backing up onto them. So
I'll talk to you later, Bruce.
So that's
Okay.
where we're at.
Councilor Pearson, welcome to our meeting.
Well, I'm having trouble with all these, okay? I've been hacked twice on this stuff, and go to meeting is the only good one, I guess, so. But I have difficulty getting onto it. Yeah, I shut my computer completely down twice, and I've had to have them all back to factory. So anyways, I'm all set. I got the agenda in front of me.
We are talking about the Green Shield Road problem that we're having.
Okay, the culvert repair? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Donnie, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention, just to piggyback on using Frank, this is a project that's bigger and theoretically we're supposed to go out for bid. However, we just went out for bid to do our Joslin Road corridor safety path. We received 4 bids from 4 different repair asphalt guys, and they were the lowest bid out of the 4. And if we need to, we could possibly add this, as a project onto our bids if we have to make it a formal situation. And I talked to our engineer, and they could do this, but we would have to just do it that way and have to reimburse, the township. But if you guys are good going with this, based on our 4 bids, I think that $10,000 is probably not that expensive for the amount of work that's needed right there, because it's a huge culvert. It's a big dammed swamp that's being pushed into the trail. It's eroding Green Shield Road. I think it's a big problem, and I'm thinking $10,000 to repair it, including fences.
I think that the council should consider waiving the normal bid process if we can tag on to Orion Township's already bid upon contract and have the same contractor do the work as long as they're willing to do it in the area that we're talking about.
Yeah, I agree with Donnie and you, Mike, that, you know, this problem isn't going to get any better for us. I guess we just have to get some more of the specifics. We can waive the bid requirement. I have no problem with that. And I know just from experience too, Superior has done water main projects here in Oxford Township and done a very good job for us at a reasonable price. So I would have no problem moving forward with them. I guess the question, Donnie, would be when could they get to this? Consider they're approved. Go ahead, Donnie.
That would be Linda, because I didn't, you know, we're going to start on the other one, I think soon, but I don't know what Linda, you know, if we need to coordinate it with ours or if we don't need to, I don't know. That would be up to Frank. We just didn't, we wanted to see what the council wanted to do before we decided, should we combine them? Do we keep them separate? Do we need to ask Frank which is the best? So I thought, we were waiting for this meeting to do anything.
Yeah, we were all kind of waiting for direction from the council before we did anything. You know, we didn't want to commit if we had to do, you know, option B or C. So nothing has been set. I mean, Frank is a pretty big operation, and this is in scale of what he does is a pretty small job. So I can get a hold of him and I can tell him to start as soon as possible. If that's when the safety path happens or tomorrow, I mean, you know, I can let everybody know what his scheduling is. And it's very weather dependent too, because, you know, the rain lately has just been a nightmare. So.
Well, if I could interject something here. Is it okay, Curtis?
Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Usually when you let a contract like this, there's the contractor charges to, you know, move their equipment and start and do the job. If Frank is willing to waive that because it's part of Lake Orion's or Orion Township's contract, that would be a cost savings right there for us. And then of course we might need to put a upper limit on this, since we don't have a number for what it might actually cost when all is said and done. But I do think Linda is right. I agree that the pipe really needs to be replaced. Doing anything else is just not gonna last. It's just not the answer. It could conceivably still flood. We had a rain last night that certainly proves that point.
Yeah, and we actually have no documentation on file as to how old this culvert is. There were remnants of the old metal culvert in the pond when Aaron and Donnie and I walked out there. I mean, is this the first replacement, second replacement? We don't know. So now Frank did give me a lump sum price of $9,200, which pretty much includes mobilization pumps, install new 12-inch pipe, labor, equipment, as well as 21 AA limestone. The surface material is going to be our cost to keep costs down, because I have enough supply of that he can use. You know, I'll just kind of do something else on some other projects. You know, we'll figure it out. But instead of him spending, you know, $1,100 to get surface material that he's only going to use $200 of, seems, you know, he's going to charge us that $1,100. So that's it. So
do we need to shore this up more with Frank through you, Linda?
Yeah, I can give Frank a call. Yeah, I can give Frank a call. And if the safety path is starting soon, Donnie, I mean, I've heard rumors of like a few weeks. We may be the first up. You know, he may say, hey, I'm going to be starting the safety path in Orion on Tuesday. Maybe I get to you on Monday. This is basically, you know, max a 3-day job. No rain, max 3-day job. This is not a huge thing. So, I mean, I've replaced culverts this size in this kind of area in a day. So 3 would be, you know, a big day.
Yeah. Donnie,
I would like to make a motion if that's okay for this.
make the motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to allow the manager to proceed with the repair of the culvert north of Green Shield for a cost not to exceed $9,200 and with Superior Excavating, and if need be, coordinate with Orion Township to be a part of the Joslin Road project to try to reduce the cost.
I'll second that motion, but I'd like to have discussion.
Well, that's fine, Mike. Okay, we have a motion by Councilor Steele, second by Councilor McDonald, to allow the trail manager to negotiate with the contractor Superior for an amount not to exceed $9,200 and to potentially work that in with the contracts already existing with Orion Township. Mike, go ahead.
I have some concern that when the estimate was written, Linda did show it to me, the contractor notes that he expects to pump 2 days before he can actually do the work. My concern is that he may not be able to pump it all, and that could drastically increase the price if he has to pump 3 days, etc. And I don't know that he'll be willing to do that under those circumstances. So I really think we have to have a firm cap, and he has to understand that that's what it is, and that these problems and extras aren't our responsibility. They're basically his.
Yeah, well, I think that from his estimate, Mike, that he's already allowed for that. I would think he would, because he says it's a lump sum price. So I'm thinking he's ignoring how long it will take him to pump. But it's a good point to say we want that tied down and make sure that's part of what it is. If there's an authorization to sign this agreement or whatever the details are of it. Go ahead, Linda.
I will make sure that it's actually spelled out in the contract that he will do whatever pumping days he needs to do. He will attend to the 21 AA. The only thing that's not in here that I did notice is he will have to remove sections of the fence. Those fence sections will need to be replaced. So he will need to have him do that. Well, and then we will supply the 3/8 screenings for the top of the trail. So that's just to save cost on our side, because that's expensive material.
Yeah. John, go ahead. You had your hand up.
Is there any requirements for wetlands if we're pumping water, where we're going to take it from and where we're going to put it? Any permits required or anything of that nature?
I can check with Jeff Stout, but where it's already a culverted area that has collapsed, we can either A, dam it off, which is what I've done in the past, dam it off, pull it out, put it in. We're just replacing existing. We're not actually disturbing, changing flow. We are just correcting a flow problem. But I'll check with Jeff Stout in Orion Township for permits. So. Okay,
Donnie, go ahead.
Just to clarify, Linda, did his price include the fencing? And then, because I don't see it on the list, but I thought it did, because I thought that's what you said. And then do we have to get with, is road commission too, or would that be a part of the permit process?
That would be part of the permit process. So I will get with Mike Young at the road commission, tell him what we're going to do, when we're going to do it. I'll get with Jeff Stout, pull any permits that we need. And then I will have Frank actually solidify his bid, expand it out a little bit. We're going to need that fence on both sides repaired and basically restore it to what it was before the collapse. And then we will supply the surface material.
Did he include the fence? I'm sorry. I didn't
Aaron,
hear
go
that.
ahead.
No, it was not noted, but we do need to have it. We do need to have it in there.
I was just going to say, I would, in your communications with Frank, make sure to John's point, Jeff Stout is going to have, he may have knowledge of what permits are required from the township, but what's required from the Deagle or Eagle or DEQ, he's not going to have knowledge of. So
Right.
I would put the ownership on Frank for that, since he's done a lot of this work for our safety path, and make sure he's pulling any permits required and it's not put back on us. But you can still ask Jeff, but I'm sure he would say the same thing.
Right.
Ask Frank.
I just like to know what I need before I go into anything. I always like to be proactive rather than reactive. So I know if he's pulled them or not, and what we need. So if he hasn't pulled something, I know it before we walk into it. So but Frank has a lot of experience.
Mike brought up a good point as far as these fence repairs. And like Donnie said, it's not in his quote. So if he says it's not in our quote, then it's going to be above and beyond monies we're going to have to spend over the $9,200.
We can
Right.
help with that. Our department can help with that.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Okay.
The other
Go
thing
ahead,
I like to,
John, go ahead.
the other thing is that if the fence is aged and damaged and can't be repaired, we're going to get into some big cost. I don't know where that would fall, so you need to give that a little thought too.
We'll be able to help out with some of the fence repair stuff from our department. We have excess supply and some handy carpenters on staff, so we can make a day of it, Linda.
Oh, great. Well, that section of the fence has been repaired. I think I've repaired it 3 times over the last 3 years.
All
So,
right, go ahead. You had your hand up.
Yes. Are we going to need, what do we need the road commission for on this deal? They're not part of it, are they?
no, I will just let them know that we have approved a contractor, who the contractor is, and when his work will start, just so they know, because Mike is very concerned about the collapse of the Green Shield Road culvert on their portion. You know, his concern is if this continues, it's going to fill our culverts under Green Shield with
Okay.
sediment, and then we're going to have a problem. So I will communicate with Mike. I will let him know we have a contractor and that we're moving forward. He'll be very pleased.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to call for a vote. Everybody understands the motion. So Allison, will you please call the roll?
Pearson,
Yes.
absent. Keel,
Yes.
Watley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Nold,
Yes,
McDonald,
Yes.
Kemp, yes.
Okay, that motion carries. On to our next agenda item, our asphalt repairs north of Bertie Street in the village of Oxford. This is our area, as you see on the aerial photographs. The photographs supplied by Linda. There's like a little heaving problem in there, and there's some need for that because according to Linda, somebody tripped and fell on the hazard there. So she did supply me, and it's not in your packet, with an estimate from Birmingham Seal Coat for over $8,000 to repair it. I personally thought that was kind of high to do what we need to have done, but John, did you go and take a look at this today?
yeah, I went out there and walked it, and I talked to Linda, and I think we need to turn it over to Linda to talk.
Go ahead, Linda.
All right. Well, we did seal this in 2018. We knew it was going to be failing. There were some root problems back when we had it sealed. We didn't do it then because the estimate was rather high. I did reach out to John, who Aaron's contact through, I forget the name, Asphalt Company. What's the name of it, Aaron? Diversify. Yeah, and I was supposed to get an estimate. I left a message with the Secretary Kelly right before he came in onto the meeting, and I have not yet gotten his estimate. I did ask him for 2 estimates. I did ask him for one to cut out the offending sections and just kind of marry it back up, and also to actually cut out the whole section and completely do a whole new 400-foot section. I don't have a price for that. So Aaron recommends them. They were the low bidder on the asphalt contract in Orion. I don't have a price except for Birmingham Seal Coat. So we're kind of putting a pin, I guess. So till we get some quotes.
Yeah, and I guess in your opinion, John, how bad do you think this hazard is?
I'm most interested in seeing the quote that will fix spaces of that. And not as a temporary, but more of a cut out a 4x4 section, cut the roots and move on. There's some areas there that I felt that if we just cut the roots would die, the area would have a little bit of bump, but it won't be a hazard.
Okay, Allison, go ahead.
I agree with Jonathan. I live right here. There's always little kids in that section. It's very heavily used. I think if we do cut out the sections, it would just solve the problem.
So you'd be in favor of the cutouts, specific cutouts versus the overlay?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Sorry. The Pollyant Trail's calling.
Well, you made it. So, Linda, sounds like we're going to wait for you to give us some more quotes back on this.
Yeah, I was really hoping to have something by meeting time. I did reach out to him a couple weeks ago. Rain, time, everything. He did look at it. He was out there today. He did look at it. He just hadn't done a estimate for us. So, we'll put a pin in it and I'll keep posted.
So it'll be good till June 17th, one way or another.
Yeah, I have marked it. So, it is marked with orange paint. Best we can do.
Linda, I'm not asking you to do anything more work to your schedule, but maybe we should remark it. And then if we do fixes in spots, put a little sign up, rough pavement or rough area ahead, just to be on the safe side.
Okay, Donnie, you had your hand up, and then Aaron, you had yours up, and then Mike, you had yours up. So in that order, Donnie, go ahead.
So I think 90, whatever, you could fix a whole culvert for almost the same price as those cracks. Seems crazy. So I just wanted to ask if Aaron knew who did our safety paths when we did all those repairs last year, and if they were any good, and maybe we can pass them to Linda. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, last year wasn't done. It was the year before, and that was Birmingham Seal Coat. Last year, we went out for a 5-year bid contract with Asphalt and Sealing Company, and all the major ones around here, including Birmingham Seal Coat, ASI, a variety of them bid on the project, and they gave us year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Their increase for inflation, their increase for material costs, fuel, stuff like that. So they were I believe they were the lowest bid. That was who we awarded the contract, the 5-year contract to. We've had them do a lot of work in our parks, and they do a fabulous job. That's all I wanted to say to that. So
that was Diversified Asphalt, Aaron? Okay. Mike, go ahead.
I have some firsthand experience as far as insurance goes with repairing sidewalks and existing hazards. And the rule of thumb is if it's a over 1.5 inch lift or gap, that it needs to be repaired. It becomes a liability. Beyond that, I'm not. When you cut a root and don't replace the cracked section, as that root rots, it's going to leave that section unsupported. So you end up creating another hazard, not right away. So it might be cheaper in the short term, but as long as they're out there with the equipment, it's probably, in my opinion, better to go ahead and make the proper repairs at that time, at that place, rather than trying to save money on it right now and then having to pay more later to bring them back. But that's my thought.
Anybody else? Okay, with that in mind, Linda, you'll get some information back to us for the June meeting. And in the meantime, if somebody, John, Aaron, Mike, if you can give Lenny some insight on the repair there, we'll go for it. Or if you need my help, Linda.
I did reach out to Diversified, so hopefully I'll get some good estimates back from them. But I do have the money to fix it, if anybody wants to hear. The next agenda item.
The next agenda item, I threw this on here because seeing we're on repairs, are there any other items that are pressing, Linda, that you need council's attention on, maybe for next month or 2 months down the road?
No, actually, I've got pretty much what I need. I have surface material. I'm kind of slowly working by myself or with one volunteer, socially distancing, to resurface some of the greasier spots on the trail. I know I did a bunch behind Donnie's office, and I did a bunch on Scripps Road because they were just greasy and not safe. Lake George, we did clear the culvert last week. So we are going to be dumping some free fill dirt out there. And then we're going to be grass seeding it and kind of fixing it up a little bit. And but other than that, I pretty much have what I need, except for a few bits of rocks here and there. I'm good to go for right now.
Okay, so nothing major like the last two agenda items we just talked about.
No, nothing major. Everything's going good.
All right.
So,
any other council members have anything that they need to bring to Linda's attention repair-wise that she doesn't know about? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to the approval of the sign design. Is it Jacob Zemancic?
yes.
Okay, Jacob Zemancic is Eagle Scout project, and you can see the design that he has proposed, one from Linda's text or email right there that Donnie has on the screen, and also some very well-designed engineered drawings. So what he's looking for, from my understanding, is just a council approval that we like the sign design that he has proposed here. So we'll open up the floor for discussion. If there is no discussion, the motion is in the packet to move forward with. So the floor is open. Anybody like to speak?
What scout troop or what area is he from?
He's I can't remember if it's 166 Oxford, the Oxford troop here. His dad is one of the scout leaders. He works for Complete Automation.
Right, I remember now. I remember seeing him. Yeah.
And real good kid, real sweet little kid. He's a good kid. His dad is a graphic design artist by trade and works for Complete Automation. So Complete Automation has offered the use of their facilities to help manufacture signs at a pretty cheap rate for them.
It's huge.
And yeah, it's huge. They're going to be fabulous. And with his graphic design background, they're going to be spectacular. They're going to be spectacular. So it's going to be.
Well, that's an Orion Township company, right?
Yes. Yep. They sit right on Clarkson Road.
Let's hear a motion then.
I'll tell you what. Hank, the owner of the company, he is like just the sweetest, kindest man. Nobody says a bad thing about that man. He is just Hank is one of those people guys. He's been good to the trail. He's been very good to the trail. So that's all I got to say.
Well,
okay.
I'll jump in and make a motion to approve the sign designs for the following Pollyant Trail locations as provided by Jacob Zemancic as part of his Eagle Scout project at Indianwood Crossing, Leonard Yard, the Milk Run, the Water Depot, and the Way Station.
I'll second.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilor McDonald, and it sounded like Councilor Steele, you were first in on the second. No? Okay, we'll give it to Councilor Wadley. Okay, you get that, Allison?
It was Allison.
Who was the second?
You must have been the first voice. I thought it was Councilor Steele, but we'll give it to you then. So you
All
get the
right.
second on that motion. So, any further discussion on the signs? Everybody likes them. They look good. Linda, do you know when they will be placed?
No, I don't. He was kind of waiting
Okay,
for the
that's all we need.
authorization, and then once they get manufactured, they'll be out there as soon as they're done. I think Steve is biting at the bit to get Jacob going on this thing.
Okay. All right.
So I don't think it's done.
For clarity, let's have a roll call so we hear everybody's voice.
Pearson.
Yes, and I like them very much.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Then absent. Steele.
Yes.
Watley.
Yes, complete automation is amazing. Yes.
Yeah, they're the best. Where?
Wright.
Yes.
Nold.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Kemp, yes.
Okay.
Curtis, I did have a question about the signs, and I just, I'm sorry, you didn't see my hand before the motion, but.
No, my screen split, so I didn't get half the people on it.
Sorry, the plates, do we have, the plates already designed, like these right here, were they?
I don't believe so.
We don't
I
have,
believe so.
we don't know what's on there yet, or was it coming later?
I think that I don't believe we know what's on there. I can ask him. I know the complete automation sign going on the bottom, and but I don't know what it says on the actual script. So
Okay.
I can ask Steve and I can ask Jacob.
Like these, the image plate, the text plate, and yeah. So I would think that you would be in charge of what is being said. That's all.
I know that he was very interested in putting on like a photograph, like an etching things that had gone on in the area. And we were looking for photographs of like the milk depot. Yeah, exactly. By the way, I got to have those back. Glenn needs those. Things like that. Something related, kind of catchy little things. So, if you want to help me, Donnie, and we can get with Steve, we can figure out some text and some photographs, because I think you and I kind of had the ideas of the photographs with Steve. So
they explain why they're called the way station, and
exactly.
that was what
and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, that was what I think the sign committee came up with, and I just wanted to make sure we utilize them. Okay, that was sorry, I'm back.
That's fine. That's fine, Donnie. Aaron indicated he has to leave in a couple minutes, so you're excused whenever you have to go, Aaron. So we'll take it from there. The next item though is sorry, who's speaking?
It's Bruce. I have to go pick my son up from his job, okay? So if there's nothing else you need me to vote on, I'm gonna leave, okay?
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Where's my agenda?
I think we're good. I think it's just informational, Curtis.
The informational, just confirmation. So we'll be good, but hopefully everybody can stay for this one, because Linda, this is something that is really an unbelievable story. It's about the beverage donations during COVID. So Linda, go ahead.
All right. Well, back on May 7th, Chief Mike and I were talking in the garage. We were just talking about stuff. And he said that they wanted to do a fundraiser for the food banks, but the food bank had just gotten a whole bunch of money for fish, different things. And our funding's down. Some of our grants have been pulled. Some of them had been rerouted, and we're always short. Schneider has kind of shut down their grants for the year. There's no money, let's face it. So, and I got a couple big repairs. I got a culvert. I got a asphalt situation. So he said, well, how about a pop bottle drive? He said, I'll clear it with the village. We'll store them back here. We'll put it on Facebook. We'll get a few $100. And I said, you know what? A few $100? That's pretty good. I can do a few $100. Probably within 8 days, hand to God, we had $10,000 worth of pop bottles in that garage. These are pictures from early days. The other day, I can't remember, Monday, all the days go together. Chief Mike got a call from Channel 4 News. They wanted to come out and do a story about our pop bottle drive because they'd seen it on Facebook and whatnot. So they came out and we kidnapped an innocent citizen, Kelly, to be in our little story as she was bringing in pop bottles. And we did this whole little story on Channel 4. And it was really kind of awesome. We got a lot of feedback, a lot more bottles. I mean, I want to be conservative and not have people overhope, but I'm thinking probably $15,000 from these pop bottle situations. But I know for sure 10. So Mike and I were starting to kind of panic a little bit. Now what are we going to do? How are we going to get rid of these pop bottles? I'm not going to move into Meyer and put them in the machine one at a time. So he reached out to Meyer. They were going to help us kind of get in the back door and expedite these things. And I reached out to Powers Distributor, and I talked to their department marketing, and I talked to a lovely man by the name of Jeff. And Jeff said, "Don't worry, we got you." So we're going to supply all the bags, all the tags, the whole deal. He's going to come out. We're going to get him to come out and do a follow-up story on our little pop bottle collection. And we're going to bag them up. We're going to take them to Powers, and they're going to cut us a check. So we're not going to be putting them in the machine one at a time. They don't care if they're pop bottles. They don't care if they're beer bottles. They don't care. Bring them, bag them, and tag them. And they're going to take care of them for us. So,
Linda,
yes.
Linda, do you need assistance on transporting them down to Powers?
Well, I'm working on that with Jeff. I'm going to meet with him next week. Hopefully they can supply us a very large Powers distribution transport. If we do need to, there may be a possibility. I mean, if we have to, push comes to shove, which I hope it doesn't, we may rent a U-Haul. Like the largest U-Haul they make, and just put that stuff in there. I'm hoping once I talk to Jeff, explain our situation, show him our situation, they will supply the transportation to Powers because they're not that far. And, you know, I said it would be really cool if you could bring a big Powers truck, you know, delivery truck to pick this stuff up, and we could do a story on Channel 2 News. Gary Thompson was, who is the vice president for Powers Distributing, is used to sit on, and I don't remember the DDA or the Chamber of Commerce in the village of Oxford. So he has a little sweet spot for the village of Oxford. And by all reports, he's a really nice, helpful gentleman. So we're hoping to kind of work him into the equation too and get him some kudos. So that's the story. It's looking good.
So go ahead, Donnie.
I'd like to make a motion to receive the donation of the 100,000
million
plus pop bottles for the Pollyant Trail, and to thank Linda for her diligence on this. And if there's any help, to call us and let us know. I have a trailer and a truck. I take 1,000 trips, but I'm open.
Well, and the good thing is, because they're so close to just down on Giddings Road, you know, it's a lot easier. I gotta thank Chief Mike. I mean, he came up with the idea. He went to the village. He made all the arrangements. He did all the legwork for us, and he's been taking a lot of, ribbing on our behalf, because this morning, last night, Mark and I went and picked up probably 100 bags of pop bottles at 7:30 last night. This morning, there was another 14 bags at 8 o'clock this morning. I haven't been up there this afternoon. We are to the ceiling. We are starting to fill the upstairs, and we're filling rooms now. So the picture you see here is probably only about a third of what we now have. It's unbelievable.
So Donnie, you have a motion on the floor to accept the donations and thank Linda for her efforts. Is that correct?
And Powers Distributing.
Powers Distributing.
And the village of Oxford and Chief Mike.
Yeah, that was my point. Donnie, if you would, to include them, that'd be great.
I would like to amend my motion to accept the bottle donation and to thank Linda, Chief Mike, Powers Distributing, and Who am I missing?
I think we need to give, I think we need to give.
Hold on, Linda. We need a second to the motion.
I would like to second that, and I would also like to add that I do have access to one of those big dump trailers with the high sides that automatically dumps if you need it.
You're up, Bruce. Hey, if I come down your road with a bunch of bottles in the back of my truck, you know, just open the pole barn.
I told you I have room in the pole barn. You can put them in there.
I may need to
Everybody
take
understanding on the motion?
Yes.
Okay, if not, Allison, please call the roll.
Pearson.
Yes.
Then absent. Steele.
Yes.
Watley.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Nold.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Kemp, yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Let's move on down our agenda. The next one up is the Waldos Fundraiser. Linda also was in communication with Waldos because she bought her flowers there and found out that Waldos would do some contributing for some fundraisers. So Linda has scheduled 2 fundraisers for May 26th and June 2nd. And just so we put it in the record, we just need a motion to approve those fundraisers. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Steele to approve the fundraiser sponsored by Waldos Flowers scheduled for May 26, 2020 and June 2nd, 2020. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, please call the roll for those that are left, Allison.
Pearson, left, correct? Sent, absent. Steele.
Yes.
Watley. Absent. Dish. Wright.
Yes.
Nold.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Kemp,
Okay,
yes.
that motion carries. Linda, thank you for that setup there. The last item on our agenda for business is an update on the Orion Township safety path. So Donnie, I'm going to let you take over in this because the major projects are within Orion Township.
And everybody can see the attached projects that are going on, and I just wanted to bring attention to the one that's going to really affect our Pollyant Trail, which is the Joslin Road connection. And when I know more, I will pass it along so we can post it properly. But the East Clarkson pathway will affect us as well too, because that's finally our connection to the Paint Creek Trail, and that should be done. They're still moving under schedule, even though the COVID-19 has slowed everything down. I think that's it. I just make a motion to receive and file unless people have questions.
I have one question, Donnie.
Motion on the floor. Second to the motion to receive and file.
I'll second.
Second by Councilor McDonald to receive and file the Orion Township Safety Path Schedule Update. Roll call, please. Wait a minute. Time out. You had a discussion point. Who had a discussion point? Was it you, Linda?
Yeah. My question is, Donnie, exactly what section of Joslin, is that going all the way to Indianwood being replaced?
It is starting at Heights, and it is going all the way to Indianwood. And the areas that are most under repair are the ones that are literally falling into the golf course. Yeah. And they're going to put a retention wall to prop that up, and then they will repair that part. But the way that I read it is that they're going to do an overlay from, the project will, the full depth patching in the quarter and an overlay over the entire length. So, and it's not going to be necessarily widened except for the area. It'll look like it's widened because it's going to be no longer in the ditch. Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure because I struggle in that section every year trying to keep it together over there. I just wanted to make sure we knew exactly where it was. I mean, I spent a lot of time over there just trying to keep it clear, even though there's asphalt over there. I mean, it's just.
And I'm sorry to say that, sorry, Curtis, I'm sorry to say that this year is probably going to even be worse than last year because we're not hiring all of our seasonal workers to maintain the safety pass this year because we had layoffs and we cut out our seasonal workers because of the revenue sharing depletion from the sales revenue tax this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. We'll do what we have to do to make it work, though. So with that, Allison, can you call the roll on the motion, please?
Pearson, absent. Sent, absent. Steele,
Yes.
Whatley, absent. Wright,
Yes.
Nold,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Kemp, yes.
Okay, that motion carries. That ends the business portion of our agenda. We have no unfinished business. Public comment, I don't believe anybody's joined into the meeting from here. So we'll move on to council member comments. We'll start with the new person, John.
I just want to say thank you. I enjoy the Pollyanna Trail. We use it as our family, and it's nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. Oh, sorry.
Donnie, go ahead. Go ahead, right into that.
John, are you new on the whole commission? Are you a new trustee, or I'm sorry if I missed where your position is, other than the Pollyanna Trail?
I was appointed trustee of the township 2 or 3 weeks ago. I moved up from the planning commission. I sat on the ZBA. I sat on the ORC for a couple of years, meeting in at Oxford. So I'm more or less taking Elgin's spot.
Well, you did good. Thank you.
John,
congratulations. Sorry, it's like you guys got a good person that knows what they're doing.
He is a front loader.
Yeah.
He has a front loader.
Yeah, we have another bunch of wealth of knowledge to join our group, so it's a welcome addition. Absolutely.
Right.
So Donnie, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want maybe Linda, if you can at the next meeting just kind of give an update on some old business, just like the master plan, the parking lots, and the ITC, and what they're going to do with that deck in the back of Orion. Just ITC update, especially that deck back there. And I want to start a vine removal campaign. So those are my comments.
ITC has kind of disappeared. I got to track them down. I keep calling them, and they keep saying we'll be out there.
We'll get to you. We'll get to you. Allison.
Congratulations, Jonathan, on your appointment to trustee, and welcome.
Thank you.
Mike, go ahead.
I'd also like to mirror the welcome, Don. Congratulations. You've obviously got the background and the familiarity, and I look forward to working with you on the trail. It's a great organization. Not many multi-community organizations work as well as this one does. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Kevin.
Yes, I too would like to echo congratulations to Mr. Knoll. And finally, Linda, are you going to need help packing those cans in the bags and things, or when might that happen?
I'm hoping that I'm going to talk to him next week. If he supplies what we need, we can start. And at least we'll be the first one in the door when they open up. Instead of 10,000 people rushing to them, we'll be the first one in line. I was hoping that the WHAM people would be back and we could have them set up. We could do a couple of WHAM days with them. I do have Office Boy Scout, Girl Scouts, that sort of thing. So I will keep you posted.
Okay.
I will keep you posted. And we'll be able to get it going.
See everybody now.
Hey.
Okay, Linda, you'll get the last word, Linda, but I'm going to go first. Mdot signs, have you heard any update?
Mdot signs. I called, what was his name? David Harrison. They should be coming onto the trail here shortly. Once they're done with the patch they have and they're rerouting traffic again, where it's going to be using Glassy. Once Glassy is done, they'll be putting the signs up. So I'm probably, with the next 10 days, they'll have signs up. So I'll send pictures out to everybody so you know what they look like.
All right. And you don't have a work schedule yet on the fence installation in Leonard?
No, we're waiting for basically the DNR to say we can go out. So
Okay. All right, ITC, you're covered. Everybody's aware of the grant you applied for AARP, I take it?
Probably not John. Barbara and I did apply for like $14,800 for an AARP. It's a beautification grant. We applied for benches, garbage cans, picnic tables, ADA compliant, and the material to install them. So hopefully we hear something back. That grant was actually delayed. It was supposed to go in April. It wasn't required until May, just because of the COVID-19 thing. They pushed it back, so I'm going to think that the award date was pushed from June to July. So I'll keep you guys posted. So.
Okay. John, welcome aboard from myself as the chair and from everybody else as well. This is a great thing for us. Donnie, thank you for organizing this meeting again. So we'll keep you on the list for June. Hopefully we can meet 6 feet apart with masks. I don't know if we want to do that or not, but we can do that. So Linda, end the meeting for us. Anything more to offer?
What do I have?
Okay, cut her off now, Curtis.
Oh, no. Bob and Kip are working in Addison. They're just about finished from Roland Road to Hosner. They're going to be moving into the village of Oxford and the township of Oxford for between Glassby and Hosner to get that taken care of. Their next stop is going to be Orion Township, and we're going to get that cleared out this summer. It's going to be great. They really do a nice job up there. It's amazing the change that takes place when they go in and they clear out those invasive species, those dead. I haven't seen trillium in some of these areas ever. They cleaned it all out. We got trillium going everywhere. It's really good. They're doing a stand-up job out there. Dave and I resurfaced quite a bit of the west side of Curtis Road. We fixed the culvert at Lake George. We are going to be cleaning that up a bit. We're going to put in some new bollards, but my brand new fabulous bollards are under 2,000 tons of pop bottles at the moment. So, well, what are we going to do? The split rail fence in Leonard, we're waiting for a crew. I don't think Mike and I want to go out there by ourselves and do it, unless you're game, Mike.
Well, we might have the time.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing. I've been busy just keeping stuff going. Trash has been unbelievable. Use of the trail has been unbelievable. I'm still working with ITC. They were supposed to come back and finish up north of Drainer. I haven't seen them in a couple of weeks. But again, the COVID-19 kind of keeps them off the job. I had to repair the M24 chain link fence. Somebody's taken the clips off, so I used wire this time and wired that thing together. So if they're going to take them off, it's going to be a big commitment.
Linda, when you say M24 fence, you mean the Larry Obrecht Bridge?
Yes, the Larry Obrecht Bridge.
Okay.
There's, yeah, it's, they were working hard at dismantling it, but I fixed it. And let's see, resurfaced south of Greenshield Road. It's looking good. I did have a couple volunteers, a mother and 2 daughters, so they were all in the same household. They did put about 80 pounds of wildflower seed and sunflower seed north of Indianwood Road. So hopefully we get some spectacular looking flowers out there this year. So if you see sunflowers, we might have been there. They're not invasive and they are only annual, so we're good. A little pop of color never hurt.
Donnie, one more point. Is it possible you can send this recording to the Oxford cable, if that's possible? They requested a copy of it, so if you can do that, that'd be good. And with that, if there's no further business, motion for adjournment is in order at 4:05. Everybody still wants to meet?
I'll make the motion to adjourn at 4:05. And just Curtis, just one comment after the motion. Anybody support us before I make my comment?
For a second.
So the only thing is that we've determined all our public meetings through June at the township are going to be Zoom. And then after that, once that's removed, unless she changes her executive order. So I don't know if we want to plan on it, and then hopefully it would be August for us to actually meet in person, maybe, right?
All right, might be a good idea. Who's second on the motion to adjourn? Anybody?
I did. John Nold.
John Nold there. I know Mike had his hand. Okay, John, you get the credit for that. Okay, with that, all in favor signify by saying aye. 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 So the meeting is firmly adjourned. If somebody wants to chit chat here, welcome and go ahead. But I'm going to sign off. And if you need me, email me, call me, whatever you need. So thanks, everybody. Good meeting.
Bye. Happy Memorial Day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, Mike, we'll put that fence up next week. What do you say?
Okay, I'll look for you.
How's retirement, Mike?
Well,
I wish I felt like I was retired, Donnie, but there's so many things going on that, you know, and a lot of them involve Linda.
What can I say?
So.
Well, our mowing should be, Pete's going to be out there mowing the trail. He said it'll be done before Memorial Weekend, so I didn't see him out there when I was out there this morning, but he'll have the whole trail mowed before Saturday. And then after that, every 10 days up until July, we'll be out there mowing it. Mark has the mower deck off the big Simplicity. We're going to make that sucker run. I think he's got turbojet on it now. So that'll be, and then we have the, so we'll be able to go 2 different directions at one time. So we can get it mowed quick. So it'll be fun.
Hey, Linda.
Allison, you'll love the gator.
Yeah, I know. What's your number? Then I'll text you again.
It's 248-310-6698.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah. Warner, she doesn't want to be in my
I can't believe we didn't
clutches.
get a Prickles update.
Oh, well, the only thing I have on Prickles is she was renamed Leslie Note.
I love Parks and Rec, and I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I like Ron Swanson. That's hilarious.
I know. Ron Swanson and Leslie Note.
Your new husband, Ron Swanson.
Yeah. And hopefully we get the signs out. But again, you know, they have them on order. Sign manufacturers are not essential, so we get them when we get them. And so, yeah, well, you know, about August, I'll be insane running around the trail, popping out of the woods like a crazy person, hanging signs and throwing rock and mowing trees and whatever, you know. So it'll be fun.
Call for help if you need it, Linda.
I will. How's Colton and Matt?
As always, Linda.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, I got you guys on speed dial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you guys.
Say goodbye to everybody. Hey, Mark.
He's all right. He's all right.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Same to you.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. All right. Bye.